right, welcome back. It's been quite an interesting search for Molefi Nseki's replacement as Bafana coach. As you know by now, various names have been mentioned. I guess we'll know when we see who's unveiled next week. Not sure whether it will be during the week or on Saturday as initially planned. Well, Mr. Coudjoe Amankwaa, in particular, SAFA is really desperate right now. And I think the worst case scenario is to dip into the mix of South African coaches and choose from those who have a better understanding on the South African players. Having the fact that the domestic league is strong, we can get a Sundowns team that wins on the continent. Also, our South African coaches are the ones that understand the players on a different and a better level. I also feel that there needs to be a bridging of the gap between the coaches, the players, and the administrators. Your thoughts on that?
Very right and a very fair comment. And I think given the time span and given the fact that all the foreign coaches they are looking for are out of reach, maybe the best option is to look internally and to look for a coach who already understands the psyche and the mentality and the culture and the tradition of South African football to be able to step in and hit the ground running. Therefore, maybe it will be a very good idea. But having said that, even if you have a South African coach, you need a strong technical team. I admire Simon Ngomane because he's one of the best brain trust of the game in this country. And last week he said it here unequivocally that we need to have a very good technical structure behind the coach to be able to ensure that the coach succeed in his mission and agenda. And if you don't get that right, you can bring any coach from anywhere and it will not succeed because football is not tennis. It's not boxing. Football is a collective game. And you need a brain of individual technical expertise behind the coach to be able to succeed.
Mr. Amankwaa, having said that, a few members of Molefi Nseki's technical team are still a part of the technical team, that being Arthur Bwakanawa and, of course, Trot Moloto. Isn't there a change that needs to happen in that space as well, thinking that the coach will need a brand new team of guys to come in and with an objective, of course, to qualify for Qatar 2022? That's the paramount goal for SAFA.
Football doesn't work that way. The buzzword is continuity. And if you're going to break everything Molefi Nseki did and bring a brand new team, when are they going to have time to be able to learn and to have acquaintance in the space where they are? And I think to leave Arthur Bwakanawa and Trot Moloto is an indication that they are thinking of continuity so that whoever that comes will be able to mix and ensure that they hit the ground running. And therefore, for me, I think that is a very good and a wise decision on behalf of SAFA.
Mr. Ngomane, we do need a strength and skills audit in terms of seeing just how strong our players are so that that can directly affect our on-field performance. The coach is very integral within this goal, but also it's important for the technical team to be just as great. Do you share the same sentiments as Mr. Amankwaa, that continuity is important, that we don't need new technical team members?
Look, my view is that you needed first to get the report of the technical team as a collective. Yeah. We haven't received that report. We have not been privy to that information as to what Nseki's report contains. Having said that, it is important that when you put in a technical team, you put in people who have an almost similar way of understanding in terms of their beliefs and systems which they follow, to say this is how they understand the game. You got to understand the South African player. He's unique to the South African environment and he can be globally competitive. But you need leadership, a technical leadership collective that understands the challenges that our players face at international level. We've been for far too long held back by ultra-defensive teams that we can't beat on the continent. Yet at club level, we're able to beat them. So what is it that we get right at club level and we fail at international level when it comes to Bafana Bafana? My view is knowledge, skill, and experience is required at that level. You can't coach Bafana Bafana without those three qualities, where you will be able to align yourself and create proper standards. That's alignment, standardization, integration, integrate the technical requirements, performance requirements for international football, and then you optimize those. Those are the 4 principles, and South African football has knowledge, skill, and experience in abundance. All you need to do is to bring in the right combination of brains to take our nation forward.
But Mr. Ngomane, does the coach then meet the international standards that FIFA has put into place in terms of qualifying and trying to compete against the best? Because you did say that we've got the brains, or we need the brains, and so that we can draw out the knowledge that's necessary to turn around what's been a very horrible few years for South Africans who are hoping that this team can eventually become a victorious powerhouse. Mr. Solomons, your thoughts on that? All right, Mr. Solomons is not with us. Mr. Amankwaa, time is of the essence. Time is the factor here for SAFA. Mr. Danny Jordan has also said that, of course, SAFA and South African football is a brand. All right, it's a brand and it's national asset, and in particular the epitome of a dreaming African nation to eventually become the first amongst the African countries to win a World Cup. Mr. Amankwaa, we are still hoping for that to happen, but we can't even announce a coach. I don't believe next week, Wednesday, we will have someone who will be finally saying that he's going to be at the helm of leading the national football team, because we've seen this before. It's 14 days late. We can't trust SAFA.
That is a contradiction. To say they're going to win the World Cup, and you cannot announce a national coach, it doesn't add up. It's a huge contradiction. And let me tell you, when Molefi Ntseki was announced as the coach of Bafana Bafana, he made the same bold prediction that he wants to win the World Cup. And here we are. He's been fired. He could not qualify the country for African Cup of Nations. And at the end of the day, we must not punch beyond our weight. South Africa got independence in 1994, readmitted into global football or sporting community in 1992. Between 1992 and 2021, 29 years along the line, South Africa have changed coaches 27 times. And that is not a recipe for success. For me, that is not a recipe where you are going to tell me that by doing that, you are going to win the World Cup. Nations that want to win the World Cup have football as a process and not an event. Germany is a very good model of ensuring that they put in place processes that win them World Cup. They went and hosted the World Cup in their country in 2006, and they went to the semifinals. And because they didn't win, they broke the team, and they came with a new players from academy, and they announced Joachim Low as the coach, and lo and behold, he went to Brazil, hammered Brazil, the host 7-1, en route to beating Lionel Messi's inspired Argentina 1-0 to lift the World Cup. They put in place processes. If we cannot announce a simple coach, and you telling me you are going to win the World Cup, I don't think you are being fair and honest. You are being very economical with the truth. And South Africans deserve better than that. You need to come out and share your problems and take the nation into confidence and tell us that, no, we cannot get a coach because of X, Y, Z, and maybe we have to resort to plan B to come with a coach.
Well, possibly plan C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. SAFA, we're calling you out and we're saying that we need some answers because it's been too problematic for a very long time. All right, awesome hosting you from your living rooms and different locations across the nations and the continent. I'm going to get my final thoughts from my guests right here on Inside Sports. Stay with us on eNCA.